now that are we halfway through the LIV Tour first season or close to the midway point of it? So
yeah, they've played 3 out of 8.
Okay, so then what do we know about their long-term viability? I mean, how much Saudi money is going to be plowed into this thing to keep it going so they could, battle, if you will, their newness by, these tournaments mean nothing. It's an exhibition, but if you do get enough going where it's a 3-time winner of a certain event, or you do get a television partner going, that they're there to stay, as opposed, because that's, to me, would be the PGA Tour's best weapon, would be like, sure, go there and get the money, but don't come back to us 2 years from now when the Saudis say they're done with their golf dalliance, right? I mean, what's the long-term plan here and viability, best you're hearing?
Right. Well, if you saw the business page the other day, Aramco, which is the Saudi, nationalized oil company, their second quarter profits were $48 billion. That's an all-time record for one corporation in one quarter. And so they have the financial wherewithal to last more or less forever if they're so inclined. Now, they do, the public investment has become, which the Saudis control, and which is paying for LIV, and has over $600 billion in it. You don't grow a fund that big by tossing away money. I mean, they are businessmen. They do want a return.
Sure.
And so, part of this, that they're going to have these, they have them now, but it's not fully baked out because it's been kind of this year's like a beta test. But next year, the team component, there's going to be 12 4-man teams on LIV Golf, and they're going to sell each of those franchises, and they're expecting to get, a good chunk for each franchise. There's only so many NBA teams you can buy or English Premier Soccer leagues, but there's a lot of rich dudes who want to be part of the sports world. So if they can sell those for $50 million each.
But what does that mean, though, right? I mean, what does it mean? I mean, who's paying attention to what the teams are called, or if it's fair to one team against the other? People have got to care about the competition, other than just some sort of rubbernecking to see what it looks like. At some point, there has to be a television component to it that places it in front of enough people for us to start to care about it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, there will certainly be a TV deal. There'll be a streaming deal. Like, that's going to happen.
With who?
It's just
with who? Who? Not a current partner of the PGA Tour, I'd imagine. Yet.
No, but I mean, like Apple TV. There's all these different streaming services. Amazon's making a huge bid into the sports world, so you can get streaming that can go global. There's, maybe you pick off another broadcast partner in the U.S., but there's Sky Sports in Europe. There's all these consortium of big cable networks around the world. If you take them down one at a time, you can put together a lucrative package, even beyond the U.S. But ultimately, the team component, they very cleverly have sorted these teams by region and nationality. So there's going to be an all South African team, an all English team. There's an all Latin American team, an all Asian team. And so you're right that nobody cares about these made-up teams called the Majestics or the Fireballs or whatever. But if you're a South African and all your favorite golfers you grew up rooting for, Schwartzel and Moosthuizen and Brandon Grace, are on one team and they're wearing your national colors and it's owned by a big South African billionaire who's got a lot of juice in the media world down there, you might actually care. You might start paying attention.
Right.
And that's where Hideki Matsuyama comes in. He's the biggest star in Asia. They already have the biggest stars in Latin America, and Abe Answer and Carlos Ortiz. Cam Smith is the biggest star in Australia. They've got all the top English guys. LIV has kind of made inroads into organizing these teams in a way that makes sense and that could be more compelling. This year, not so much. So they're just trying to figure it out, and they've been signing players slowly. But next year, it's going to be much more baked out, and the team competition could actually be somewhat compelling, and definitely is a differentiator from the tour product, which is just one 72-hole stroke play event after another. And if they can get $25 or $50 million per franchise, that more or less covers the purses. When they get TV and streaming, all of a sudden they could be break even or even slightly profitable. And what the Saudis are getting and break even would be great for them. Profit would be a bonus. But what they're buying is currency in the Western world. They're getting a seat at the table. And I'm one of only 2 reporters who's been to all 3 LIV events. And the top guys from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, who are 2 of the most powerful people on the planet, who are not heads of state, they play in the pro-ams. And they're just swanning around because this is their show. And they're getting dapped up by all the pros. And they're rubbing elbows with the former president of the United States. And they are being welcomed into a place like the Centurion Club in London, which is very much a blue blood, gathering spot for the English aristocracy. Saudis are not welcome there as members, but for 1 week they ran the whole place, and it was their show. And so these guys are having the time of their life, and they are getting what they've always wanted, which is legitimacy in the eyes of the Western world and validation. And of course, they're building a lot of other business contacts with all these captains of industry that can be quite lucrative down the road. So the idea that the Saudis are going to lose interest, it's not going to happen. They're having too much fun, and they're getting what they've always wanted, and they actually have a chance to not lose money. And so I don't think that they're going away anytime soon.